Okay, Diane Warren, you've written quite a few songs in your lifetime. Tell us about The Hunting Ground. How did you get involved with that project?
Bonnie Greenberg is a friend of mine and a music supervisor, and she's the one who told me about the movie and about these girls' stories. And I was just compelled, to write the song for this. It was such a powerful story, or their stories and what these girls went through. And it's just I needed to do it. I needed to write the song for that.
Hmm.
I did.
Well, let's talk a bit about the movie because I mean it's a film about you can call it an epidemic because that's certainly what it is about rape on
Yeah.
college campuses
By
and
the way, not even just college campuses, but it's culturally. It just seems like this year or recently, with this movie or with Bill Cosby, with all this other stuff, where everything was so hidden before, and now you really have it like not in this dark closet, and it's like become out in the open. And this movie and I think the song really, is added to that, bringing that, helping do that.
right. Well, I know personally speaking, just for myself, when I was watching it, felt heartbroken and enraged
Yeah.
watching. So, how did your reactions to the movie influence the song that you wrote?
I mean, there's a lot of different emotions you feel. Of course, you feel just kicked in the gut and heartbroken and just because it's so harsh, and to hear what these girls go through. And then when you see the whole movie too, it's like you see them getting empowered, and you see them, they're not just victims anymore. They're victims, they're survivors, and they're activists. So that's a great thing about that movie. I heard their stories before I saw the movie, so I just wrote the song based on, I just wanted to write a song that till it happens to you, you don't know how it feels, so everybody could tell you, that, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna get better, it's gonna, and you know what, when you're going through that, you don't feel that. You don't. You feel like nobody understands you. And so when someone says something like that, it's like, it's like it's like in the second, or I think it's the first verse. It's like, what the hell do you know? How do you know what the hell? Until you walk where I walk, it's just all talk. Until it happens to you, you don't know how it feels. Just something so simple, because we don't know how that feels. I know a little bit how it feels. I've had my own situation, to be honest.
Hmm.
But I was secret about mine. You know.
Right. Now you mentioned the name of the song. It's "Till It Happens to You."
Yeah.
I wonder what was the moment where it came to you that this is what the song's going to be. What was that like?
I started, it's what I do. I started writing the song. And also what I was thinking about when I was writing is I wanted the song to, of course, the main thing is it has to fit the movie. Whenever I do a song for a movie, that's, first and foremost. But the best songs transcend that. And they could be like this song could be about whatever you want it to be about. In the movie, it's a very powerful statement, but there's other things that people go through. There's other, difficult situations. You could be bullied, you could be suicidal, you could be depressed, you could lose your job, you could lose a loved one. There's a million things that but people always say, and it's like it's human nature, because people are going to go, and I say that to my friends, oh, it's going to be okay, just in time. But when you're there, you don't want to hear that.
Hmm. What struck me was I was watching the movie. The first time that you hear the song, I think it's about 20 minutes into the movie, and it's just over a collection of. You've already heard some stories about these girls, just a couple of them, and
Right.
then you see them trying to move on from it. I thought that was a very powerful way of using that song the first time. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, that was something that Bonnie Greenberg, the music supervisor, she really wanted to find a really great place, not just to have the song be at the end, but to have that song where it could be really part of their story. And I know Bonnie sat down with the filmmakers and really kind of found that scene, or put that scene together with the song. And then when we were in the studio with Gaga, we had her, see that, so she could, do that really vulnerable little version, where it's so powerful, because you're hearing these girls talk, and then you're hearing this almost whispered,
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you hear it, it is very vulnerable and
Yeah. And then the cool thing about it is it follows. It's so cool how that song follows the stories of these girls, really, which is weird, you know. I mean, because when Gaga sang it, the first verse is very vulnerable, like the girls are at the beginning. The second verse, she's getting more pissed off, which is, you know, like the girls are getting. And at the end, it's so victorious and you know, powerful, and they're not just survivors, they're activists. So the song is following that. And then Catherine Hardwicke did this genius video, which you've seen that, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
It's brilliant, you know, and it's the same thing with it's 3 acts. You know, if you see the first part of that video, it's horrible to look at, you know, and then, you know, you see what goes on, and then you see, you know, them getting stronger at the end when they're all marching down that hallway. You know, it's pretty empowering, you know, and I love that. I love that I love that everything about this ends up being empowering.
Right. Yeah, totally. Now you mentioned Gaga. What was that collaboration like between the two of you?
Well, I called her up and played her. I had written a song, and I called her up and played it for her, because I knew she had gone through a situation like that, so I thought she would, you know, really relate to the subject matter. And, you know, you never know when someone hears a song. And she loved it. And, you know, I didn't know if she was going to for sure get involved in it. And I just got on a plane and went to New York, and we went in the studio, which was actually 2 days ago. And then she really, you know, put herself in it and really made it her own. And you know, even the arrangement, which, because when I wrote it, it was kind of more, you know, it's all like piano ballad, you know, and she kind of made it this, you know, brought this epic, you know, Gaga-ness to it, you know, and really just killed it. It's so great, her performance. And she sang it and played at the Billboard Women in Music the other day, and she just blew the roof off the place. You know.
Now our readers just love kind of like behind the scenes technical stuff. So, take us to when you're recording a song, you know, trial and error, things like that. What were some of the experiences that you guys had?
Well, you know, I gotta say, you know, Gaga had a vision for the song. She knew what she wanted to do with it. You know, my gut was to kind of keep it really simple and really piano-y, maybe some strings, but she was like, no, it has to be epic. And you know, and she was right, because what she brought to it really made it into this like anthem, you know, to whereas, you know, the song is kind of, as I envisioned it, was a little more somber, you know. But she took a hold of it, and from day one, I mean, she really created a, you know, great record. You know, she produced it herself. She had brought in this guy named Stephen Aramis, who's a genius arranger, and he did that string arrangement, which is just so integral to the song to me. You know, so that was all her. You know, the way that record came out was her vision. I have to say, I was there in the studio, just like, you know, marveling at it, and just, you know, I mean, I kind of just, you know, my part was done, you know, then it's her part, you know, and I kind of just sat back and watched it come alive. And she has such an amazing work ethic, you know. She was never satisfied. Like, her vocal would be great, and she's like, no, I could beat it, you know. We went in for like 3 nights, you know, and she just had a vision, you know. I'll give her that, you know. It's really, she made a really amazing performance, amazing record.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I mean, the whole movie is that way too. I mean, speaking personally as a recent college graduate myself, I mean, wow. I know women who've been through this situation before, but it really, watching the movie, it really unsettles you.
It brings it, and you know what's, Gaga and I and the filmmakers just did a New York Times talk about a week and a half ago, and I said, everybody in the audience, whoever's dealt with this, with sexual assault, raise your hand, and there were a lot of hands. You know, there's a lot of hands. I mean, there's so many people that go through this. I got on the plane on the way home, and the stewardess said, "Can I hug you?" And she goes, "Thank you for Till It Happens to You. The song is saving my life and so many other people's lives." I'm like, wow, because you don't think of it, you know. But the power of music and the power of one song to that it's reaching people, that all these people, right? I mean, it's pretty amazing, you know, to be a part of this, and a part of the conversation, and a part of, you know, helping this get out, you know, helping these, you know, that, you know, they're not victims. I don't even like using that word, victims. You're not sexual. You're sexual assault, survivors and activists and empowered people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many affecting moments in it too, and it's such an important issue. And the power of a movie like this and a song like this is that it can.
And the video.
The video
is close to 23 million views, and Lady Gaga's not in the video, so that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems as if just in this past year, it's all awareness for this kind of thing has grown.
Yeah,
it was the kind of thing that for
like not just the Cosby thing, so much other stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, for a long time, it felt as if it was something that was just sort of like, you knew about it, but it was just kind of under the surface, and everyone said, "Well, don't."
No one talked about it. No one talked about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to dwell on the situation I had. I had a situation when I was younger, and I didn't talk about it, and because I probably felt guilt, and and felt I couldn't talk to somebody, and I'm trying to think if I told my mom, when I was an adult, but why didn't I tell my parents? Why? I mean, I had a situation with a friend of mine's dad, really messed up, really fucked up, but that stuff does fuck you up. It does.
No, it does. But I think that I'm sorry.
I said, not to get too personal, but here I am getting personal. But I was just relating to the fact that it's a secret. You go through stuff like that, and people. But this year, like you were saying, this year with this movie or all these women coming forward with Cosby, we're not taking this shit anymore. And I don't care if you walk down the street naked. No one has a right to do anything. That's your right to do whatever you want, but it's not your right. You know what I'm saying? It's your right to dress how you want, act how you want. That doesn't give and you could be drunk as fuck, and it doesn't give anybody the right to sexually assault you.
Right. Certainly. Yeah. I mean, I think that's all. It helps bring awareness for that, and I think that it helps. As a man, it makes me think about the ways that I think about it. You know what I mean, and the way I approach the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. I met someone who said her son showed her the video. I thought that was really cool. Her son's in college, and it was like he showed his mom. It's like, wow, So it's not just everybody can learn from this, and maybe it'll change something, and whatever makes awareness, whether it's this movie, whether it's this song, and I think a song, music is so powerful that it changes everything. One little song can, music is go because it doesn't have any borders. You don't have to sit down and watch a movie. You can just hear it, and it just gets in your soul and changes you whether you want it to or not. And I'm really excited to be part of this. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the song and
Thank you.
the impact of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Nice talking with you.
Nice talking with you too. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.